Hello, guys. You're welcome to Street and Cathedral today.
Yeah, yes.
Really
Really
just imagine. I think you guys are right. It is the device. You know what I go do after I drop this call now?
Yeah.
It's actually the device. Maybe there is too much on it.
And immediately before Omar found them and following straight up. But now the
Yeah.
sound people, nothing happened to the sound at all.
So I think it's basically the phone. I need to just keep wiping many things on it. So this is Seun as well. Seun's on board. Come on, regards to Android though. Anyway, waiting just
Even an
happen.
iPhone that they use too, Baba.
No, this is Android. See, basically, waiting just happen right now. Naya go just use launch today's program. Nobody give OT reach Jesus Christ. You remember, say Jesus Christ talk one
You don't
parable.
forget.
He talk say he call everybody for wedding. So dignitaries where they invite. Now him be this iPhone. Dignitaries, cathedral men where they invite. Then fuck up. Jesus talk say, I will enter street. Nice people know they disappoint. Enter them, make them pack them, come, make them come chop. So basically, I think Street and Cathedral, this is one of those things that we need to experience. I'm so sorry, guys, for this. This will be the last time for this hiccup. Now that I've noticed that is actually the other device, I'm using an Android for this now. So I can now tell that I think is quite, some heavy load on it that must have been stalling it. So you're welcome, brothers. You guys are looking great.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks for your last visit. I hope you guys had a nice time. Happy Father's Day to us as well.
Yes, so
So
happy
I
Father's
brought
Day.
I brought wine for our celebration. Rabbi, now you turn this water to wine. So happy Father's Day to us.
No be me, na Jesus.
That your name Evio, Rabbi. Name will be say be like saying now only Jesus talk say occupy it like come.
And then thanks to you and Madam for the hospitality in Belfast last week.
Oh,
Was a nice. Yes, sir. Was a
the
nice
pleasure.
was a nice time.
The pleasure is always ours. Honestly, the least we could do in this environment we found ourselves is the fact that we guys are far away from home and we need to just keep in touch. And I always appreciate that about us that when we keep in touch, we have quite a lot to catch up with. And that's one of those things I'm grateful for. So you guys are welcome to Street and Cathedral. A very quick one. We are not behind schedule. We have just adjusted the time. Instead of 4 to 5, it is 5 to 6 because we cannot rush this topic. You guys will agree with me. So let us just say that because of our technical hiccups, we have extended the time. The topic is a very deep one. And it's one of those topics that I think that has lingered in everybody's mind before now. Before now, I'm sure we listen to many things in the cathedral, and we are realizing that it is another thing that is playing out. Before I throw my question out, I want to give us a background kind of thing that led to this topic. So here's the thing. I personally, I will try as much as possible to avoid infusing my personal sentiments of prosperity gospel into this conversation. So rather, I would use it to ask questions because when a child is being told this is green and is saying another thing, or when someone is being told this is the way and is seeing the person telling me this is the way, passing another route, you know that such person owes the other person some sort of explanation, and the other person is curious already, would always ask question. So here's the thing. I want to read a Bible verse for us in order to kickstart. My Bible is actually on this device I'm using, but so I would read from this my other Bible. It's in Isaiah chapter 9. Isaiah chapter 9 from verse 6 to 7. Just very simple. Isaiah chapter 9 from verse 6 to, it says, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice." Please, emphasis on the justice and righteousness from time on and forever. "The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this." So, because of my curiosity, I moved on to just two verses, and maybe later on I would read the other ones. Isaiah, the same Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1 to 9. Isaiah chapter 61, from verse 1 to 9. I read. It is quite interesting that this is the Bible passage that Jesus Christ personified to his mission, his purpose on earth. Now it says, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim the good news to the poor." I repeat, to proclaim the good news to the poor. Emphasis on the poor. That was his first mission, to the poor, to the poor, to the poor. Now, second, he has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn. I repeat, to comfort all who mourn. The ministry of Jesus Christ. So, and to provide for those who grieve, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. I like to explain Bible because after he has done that, remember, those who grieve, the poor, the broken-hearted, the captives, he said they will rebuild. Now he has empowered them after he has intervened in their situation. He has changed. And he said they will rebuild the ancient ruins and restore the places long devastated. Now, on and on and on. My brothers, this is Seun Aderibigbe. I have known Seun over the years right now. I have known Opeyemi Adebayo, whom we call Rabbi. We grew up as very strong cathedral and boys with strong cathedral values from our family. And I can categorically say that we are still on track, although we do not owe humans any explanation, as you don't seem to be. That is not a conversation any mortal can have with any mortal. It is not in your place. So I feel that we have gotten to a place where we just read the ministry of Jesus Christ. As a matter of fact, in order of priority, the most important, the first that came to his heart was the poor. So I listened to a preacher recently who said it is actually a sin, a disgrace, disservice, shameful for one to be poor. He said, as a matter of fact, poverty is so bad to the extent that even after you die here on earth. Now he's using the analogy between the rich man and Lazarus, the parable of Jesus Christ. You remember that even when a rich man went to hell and the poor man goes to heaven, a poor man is not even given an estate. He had to stay in Abraham's bosom. And even when a rich man in hell is now actually devastated, need help, he would still attach the poverty of the one who died, who attached the poverty to him to the extent that he said, "Father Abraham, please send Lazarus." In another words, send that wretched man, the poor man, to dip his hand into the water and let me have a taste of relief. So my question is, at what point did our gospel go to this charade, profound need of money? At what point? What is actually the quality of gospel in relation to money, monetary values in recent time? So whoever wants to go first, Rabbi, you want to shoot first? Seun, please, you want to shoot first? Please go ahead.
Okay, I think his network is a bit
Yeah,
so probably
so
so let me just run through it. Very nice background. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my views on this topic on your platform, my brother. And let's just jump into it basically. See, when it comes to money and the teachings we hear these days, it's quite disturbing. And it's disturbing as people in the faith. And then sometimes you now wonder, when it comes to some of these prosperity messages, even from the most respected men of God, even from those we respect the most, we hear some things that you just go back and you're disappointed. Because it kind of brings shame to the name of God by the time you start seeing, and then you hear people dissecting, and of course people jump on board. You have some of these, of course, we are avoiding mentioning names of people, but you hear some analysis some people make, and then you see they are right. Even those are the so-called antichrist, see they are right because of how much some of these preachers have reduced the gospel. I'll very quickly bring a very quick background about where tithes or 10% came in the Bible. Very, very brief one. And then so that then I will use that to explain some of the points I have. So the first indication of, okay, don't let me say at the beginning, from the beginning, the first place in the Bible where we could say giving is an important part of our gospel was in the case of Cain and Abel. And we could see how the quality of the gift a man brings to God, that's in terms of substance. It was not about money at the time. It was about substance, the reward for their labor, how important it was to God. And the Bible says that God accepted one and rejected the other, basically. And it said because one's offering was more honorable. So basically, one brought the first fruits, the best of the first, while the other just decided to give God anything. So basically, we could see that giving back to God is important to God. We have to establish that fact. So basically, and then we understood where Abraham was the first person in the aspect of tithes. Abraham was the first person in the Bible that gave 10% of um, of this loot. He went to fight a battle, rescued his cousin, and rescued his nephew.
was that a law? Well, was that a law, or it was
No,
based on the relationship
I'm
Abraham
coming
had
back to
and the
that.
law?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. That's why I said I want to just mention the first places, and I will just itemize them very quickly. So
Okay.
that is the first place, and the Bible made us understand. He gave it to a king, the king of Salem, Melchizedek, and then we could see. So basically, with Abraham, it was not a law. It was just more like, I went to fight a war. I went to rescue my brother. And then when he was coming back, mo bá àgbà oyè lọ́nà, àgbà ò gbọ́dọ̀ lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn o, ká má yàn kankan fún wọn. You understand? Ẹ bá mi dá kíní ẹ̀sìn mẹ́wàá, ẹ bá mi kó ìdá mẹ́wàá. You understand? And then
We can't hear you. Okay.
the Bible also itemizes that Melchizedek was a priest. You understand? So basically, he was a king and a priest at the same time. That is. So basically, so Abraham, he was just out of his heart. All these things I'm giving. You understand? Now, with
Yes.
Jacob as well made a promise to God. Give 10% of what he gave. Now, when it now came to be a law, was when when God was giving Moses instruction to the children of Israel for them to give a percentage, and if we could establish that in, I think that should be in Deuteronomy chapter 26, we could establish that. That was when God gave his law. And when God basically as a tax to the children of Levi, it was just basically every other tribe was allowed to work. But the children of Levi were meant to maintain the temple. They were practically the officers of the temple, and which is a very, very, and the temple is an important institution in Israel to the children of Israel at the time. And so basically, if we look at it, those were laws given, and then giving 10% of what they worked for was basically to cater for. It's just like our government. What is our government doing to them at the, in modern day? They earn from taxes of the citizen, like I say we are right now. What we earn from is the tax. I mean, we pay taxes, like we cannot say Great Britain has any natural resources, but the government, so that they will not be able to use it for other institutions. And out of that 10% that was paid to the children of Levi, then if you go down to those laws, which I cannot go, if you want to go, then 10% of whatever they bring has to be sacrificed as an offering. Now, note, what they were given at the time was not money. All of these things were resources for the people who were farming.
Okay,
Just
okay. You know what, Seun? You know what, Seun? Because this is an
mm.
introduction. I'm still going to ask leading question. I can see you delving deep already. Rabbi, I want you to jump in right now with the background I provided. And I want you to shift a little further from where Seun was. Seun has actually given us a historical background. I don't want you to go there anymore. Historical background at which this thing started. Now, I want you to also emphasize on when Seun was talking, he talked about the era of plutocracy. Plutocracy means when God was leading the people of Israel directly, there was no king, it was just the children of Levites. Now we can see that it was a modality around taxation that God was trying to create for the children of Levites. Now that is their social cultural need at that point in time. So how come as the quality of gospel, how
Deuteronomy. That's
can you
Deuteronomy
hear me?
chapter 14.
I can
In fact,
hear you. I
I
think
would really love
he's
to start
breaking on the side.
from that point.
I don't think.
So how come as the quality, I mean the quality of the gospel being reduced to monetary gain, or let us say projection of monetary values? Rabbi, we can't hear you. You need to unmute your mic. We need to hear you, please. We can't hear you. Rabbi, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. You you need to unmute. Like apparently maybe on mute. You need to unmute.
Mm.
Or you cut off and rejoin. Either ways. So Seun, let's move ahead. You
Okay.
were saying something. So now this was around taxation, right? If I
Yes.
get you right,
Yes.
around taxation and their social cultural needs. So now take us through that journey as you were working on through it.
Okay.
How did it not transcend to reducing the quality of gospel
Okay.
to monetary values?
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Now, in starting with that question, I will go to start with Malachi because that was when it seemed like a curse. Okay. I will go to Malachi. Malachi 3 verse 8, where it said the prophet Malachi rebuked the children of Israel.
Uh,
Rebuked. Okay, he's back.
So
Okay,
please, Rabbi,
Yes.
on your other phone, can you end the live on your other phone? End that live, please.
All right.
Okay, now that's good. Now, Rabbi, the question is, so I'm very sorry. Please
yes,
hold your
yes,
thought
yes.
for 1 second first, please. I'm very sorry. Sean made mention a very important thing around taxation, which is their social cultural need at that point in time. So how did it now become profound that the gospel has been reduced to monetary values? I know it's a battle we can't win, but we need to converse about it because we are not stupid. If you want us to, we are not following stupidly. We are not seeing things stupidly. These guys are not ready for difficult conversation, and I don't think they represent Christ by not ready for difficult. Christ was always ready for difficult conversation.
Yeah.
I see their followers always protecting them. When you ask questions, they feel like, oh, you are antichrist or whatever. You need to be ready for difficult conversation if you want to be a leader or you are on top. So how come has the gospel been reduced to monetary values?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
thank you, my brother. Thank you for the platform. In fact, platforms like this are actually needed for us to, hear ourselves out and learn some things, to learn our own lane. Now, the truth of the matter is, permit me to start from where Seun stopped, because he was mentioning something about tithe and things like that. He was saying everything, how he started and stuff like that. Now, in that particular Deuteronomy chapter 14 that I was reading, if you read from verse 22 to the last verse there that I was talking about tithe, what God said was that they should bring tenths of what they have to the house of God, where He has designated for them to bring it. Now, on bringing it, it is 10% of their crops, of their wine and stuff like that they are asked to bring, not money really. Then, after they have brought it, they will eat it in His presence. If
they will eat it in his presence.
if we can go to that place and read it, that is
No.
chapter 4. You can go
good.
back
But
there
continue.
and read it. You can use Amplify or different versions of Bible to read it. Now, he said they will eat it in their presence. Why? So that they will have the fear of God. God was using it to teach them a particular lesson. Now, he now
Wait,
said,
I'm sorry, who will eat it? The Levites or the people who brought it?
the people that brought it, every one of them will eat it in his presence.
Wow.
Can we go?
So it's more like a
It's
feast
more like
of
a
a feast of
feast.
our increase.
Yes.
Oh,
It's more like
okay.
a feast for them to eat and rejoice in the presence of God for the purpose of one thing, so that they will learn the fear of God. He now went further. He now said, if you cannot bring, if where God has designated for you is far from your place, is far from your place of worship. Now, you can now convert it to money, bring it close to the place where He has designated, then now buy all those crops and eat it again in His presence. So that's if you
Wow.
cannot carry all your goods, all those your 10%. If you cannot carry it based on distance. That's, if I was shocked when I was reading it too. I was as shocked as you are shocked. So that was the purpose of it, to teach them of the fear of God. Now, God knows that there cannot be. God even said it, that the land cannot be without the poor. There must be poor in the land. There must be rich.
So what do you have to say? So what do you have to say to the theory of the preacher that said that poverty is a shame? As a matter of fact, even when you get to heaven, you'll be aligned to a rich man on earth. You have to be in Abraham's bosom, whatnot. That poverty is a disservice to God.
Well, actually,
to the statement, not the man of God, to the statement.
We understand in parts, and I don't. Of course, I didn't listen to the whole preaching of that particular person, whoever the person is. I don't listen to. Sometimes when a preacher is talking, sometimes we might not listen to the concluding part of what the person is saying, or his school of thought, or is the thing that where he's coming from. So that's why I can't really say much about it. But the fact remains that God even recognized the poor. He created the rich because of the poor. So He even instructed them that if those who are poor, there is a particular rule in Israel. I don't know if they are still following it till now. God instructed them that after they have even gone to take their 1/10 on their field, they should leave some portion on the field because of the poor. If you read the story of Ruth, that was what Ruth was trying to harvest. She was harvesting the leftover in the farm because she was a widow and they were poor. So God recognized the poor. So it is not a choice of a man to either be poor or rich, but God recognized the poor. So the poor must be.
Okay. Seun, let's take it a little further to our African socio-economic realities. Let's bring it now. Let's land it home. We know that the poverty rate in Africa is at an alarming percentage. The harsh realities and predicaments people are, facing on a daily is so on this scale with what Rabbi has just said about the system of living leftover whatnot. At the same time, in Africa, we are experiencing a booming multi-billion dollars religious, kind of industry, which serves as a direct antithesis. I cannot come to understand it. So, Phantom, just try to talk to me as if I'm a 7-year-old boy, while a society is facing such, and we have a very, and when I mean I'm not saying the religious industry should actually be crumbling. No, what I am saying is this: they are even competing with a stable economic kind of religious setting, and they are beating them at the game. So what is really going on? What are we thriving upon here? What is really going on? The stats are not right with me, please.
Yeah. Now, thank you very much. It's a very, very important question. And sometimes, trust me, we've been in that system. We've been in that system a few years ago. And then Bible say, let God be true and let every man be lie. Now, basically, you start, by the time you get into a system like this, and you see the way a system works, and then you really see that what is really happening most of the time is these preachers are thriving on people's problems. Don't let me say people's poverty, but yeah, you could use it. They are thriving on people's problem, and when a person has a problem, the person does everything to get out of that problem. Now, if you are preferring a solution, any kind of solution, a man who is poor, and you as a pastor, you understand, as saying, bring the money to me, I am the oracle of God here. And then they bring the money to you. Now, the truth is that let us be truthful. There is nothing against giving to God. God loves a cheerful giver. We can establish this in our scripture. Now, the problem I have is that now, when these institutions come into place, when these churches gather all this offering, I would say that whatever is happening there in the African culture is, I will say, we are following the tenet of God by giving in our tithes and our offering. There's nothing. God is not against our giving. You understand? But what happens to those who are giving? What is the reason for why did God establish this fact? You understand? Why did God establish this template? Are these things being executed? Are we doing what we are supposed to do with the money? And that is why it's making it look as if their economy. The truth is that if we look at our fathers in the past, you don't see them practically almost any pastor of any big church in the country where we come from have at least a private jet now. Have at least, whether it is needed or not. We know the big ministries that really need it. And for me, even the big ministries that need it, I don't understand why even the ministry needs more than one jet. You understand? We understand the need for the private jet is for, because you want to wonder, and why what you spoke about um as regards what is happening. The people in the economy are poor. We are coming from a place like Nigeria. We know what it is. We are not blind to it. We know what it takes for a person to have a square meal in a day. We know what it is. So how can this institution be able to boast?
Okay.
What is education? Yeah.
Thank you for your honest response. Rabbi, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Jesus categorically said two things. He said, "Oh, Jesus Christ! I want to speak in tongues." Hey, he said, "I in my Father's house there are many mansions.
Yes.
I am going to that place to prepare a place for you." If it was not so, right?
Yeah.
Now it seems as if my question might be funny. It seems as if did Jesus tell some people that they should be collecting money from us so that we can be building a better mansion up there? Because I don't seem to understand where someone told us categorically that in my father's house there are many mansions. I am going there to prepare a place for you. If it was not so, I won't tell you that. And Jesus is, in fact, we are going to analyze Jesus's word and his attitude. But one of his attitude that we saw evidently is his undiscriminatory actions towards the rich, the poor, and all. The same attention and love he showed to Nicodemus. Explanation. The same reach he extended to this guy, Zacchaeus, the one who climbed the tree that he hid in his house. That was the same love he showed to the poor. Everybody felt that, I've not come to this to this understanding why some people needed to be even worshipped more than the way Jesus Christ was respected while he was on earth. And why we are, if Jesus's word to the Pharisees was that whatever you do, your right hand does, do not let your left hand know. He said, you guys pray lofty prayers because your reward has already been given. You want people to praise you. So are we not also seeing people getting the reward of ministry by people giving them the respect and worship of, oh, they are rich, they are famous, and I have to just couple myself as against the true quality of, which Jesus Christ emphasized, the kingdom that has always been, that there's a better place, the kingdom. Now it seems as if what we are getting now. So my question right now to you, sir, Rabbi, make us understand what is really going on. Why does it seem as if even Jesus Christ didn't get this amount of worship? Is it true that the word he said that the latter shall be greater than the former? This is what is going on, or you shall be more than a conqueror? This is what is going on, or could it be that we are missing some details in the scripts?
Yeah. Thank you. Actually, I want to come from the angle of the fact that people, especially from the part of the country we come from, or from the part of the world we come from, there is this nature, this should I say low self-esteem, or this inbuilt form of nature of worshiping things or worshiping people that seems to have some privileges more than we do. Like, for example, there is this part of things in Africa, or let me speak particularly Nigeria, where I know very well. If there is somebody who is at the point, at a particular level, or a kind of office where he is a key to your he has the key to your door, or he has something which you do not have, we Africans, we naturally have this form of attitude of worshiping such a person. We regard that person like as if it is nothing. So it's not really a form of fault in our culture, really. We honor people who are in leadership position. We honor people who are older than us and things like that and things like that. Now, it is on this us that most religious men are riding on and making people to worship them. So they put themselves in such a position that they want to be worshipped. You will see a boy of, it gets me irritated. You will see a boy of 20 years old in ministry. He's just 20 years of age and he's a pastor. And somebody who is as old as 60 years old will be kneeling down for him, and worshiping such a person. So it is not really a fault of what the religion poses. It's fault of people who are in the religion. That's just the truth. It's just the fault of those people who are in the religion, worshiping whoever is their head. Now, come to the Western world.
Okay, yeah, continue. Land your points, because I have a question for both of you. This is going to be both of you.
Right. Look at the Western world. No matter how anointed you are, they can always confront you. In fact, the government will even confront you to ask you. The government will even ask you to give account of your income, of your church income. But look at that in Africa, it is not so. So it is a kind of societal influence on that kind of attitude. So that's why I can't say categorically, or I can't put it straight off like that the pastors are the ones setting themselves to be worshipped. So societal
Okay.
factor is also part of it.
Okay, now good. Before we go to the role of the state and regulation, because this menace is getting out of hand.
Yeah.
A Nigerian pastor was arrested in England, which I know both of us read about it, the three of us. What happened? He, oh God, he took the church money offering, thinking he has the sole, decision over the money. And I think it was around £12,000 or whatever. And the church members decided to get him arrested for it because they felt cheated. That is in a society like this. We know things like that in the society we are coming from is like a norm.
So,
an antithesis now. A pastor in Nigeria, a member wanted to give him 100,000, wanted to bless him or give him, mistakenly sent 1 million naira. Baba, na mistake be the zero way this behind her. Return the 900,000 naira. He said no, that you have given it to God, and you can't give to God and collect back from God. So is it God that I transfer money to? No, so I know these things is fun. These things are fun. We are taking it from the minimal to the to the top. Now I wrote down religious competition and church growth. Religious competition and church growth. Is this the reason why there's an high place of monetary, that the income and the monetary value has been so because of the religious competition and the church growth, the need for it? Or could it be we found ourselves in the hand of narcissists or people that are of greed or people that are trying to coin the word of God to their own advantage?
Well,
whoever wants to go first, whoever wants
I
to
think
go
I
first.
should go first because she will always have opposite way of seeing things. Anyway, actually, all these things still boils down to personality and those who they don't even know God really, and they claim to be pastors or they claim to be religious leaders. And I was talking with a friend of mine. I think it was Shane that I was talking with that day. I was telling him something about why the need for having branches of churches, because it will grow to a level that you yourself, that you are the overseer, you are human. There will be some death that will be happening within that you will not even know. You understand what I'm trying to say? So why the need for that expansion and having that large population, having that large, cathedral, different branches and branches and branches like that? Because you won't be able to have control over them and you will lose ground. And every form of atrocities will happen. But those who are coming to the ministry, look them out. 2 years, 3 years, they have been thinking of having branches. In fact, even if they have, by the time they have branches, the branches will have to be bringing some certain percentage of money to them. Whether the branch is meeting up, whether their needs are met in their local branches, it doesn't concern them. In fact, people are even getting promotion based on the amount that your branch, bring back to the headquarters, which are wrong notions, which are things. It's being covered. They now cover everything under the shadow of you cannot you can't touch the anointed of God. You cannot question the anointed of God or things like that, which is wrong. I think it's high time people start to realize and calling the leadership to question, asking them. And that's the reason why they have what's it called, they have elders in the church, or they have inner what do they call them now, the inner people in the church that are the church authorities. They don't really give the pastor the autonomy of leadership anymore. Those are the reasons. Let's ask questions. Let's ask them. Let's make them give account of what they are doing. It is the ambition they have that they want to start that competition that it is my church that is the biggest. It is my congregation that's all those kind of wrong motive. And these are the things that is causing problem. And it will continue to cause problem because the more new people are coming to the ministry, the more they have this kind of mindset and the more they go. with it, and the more the problem continue to expand. So that's just it. That's just it.
Seun, what do you think? Please.
Yeah, basically, I would just say, first, there is no problem with growth. There is no problem with anyone growing in life. We all want to grow. I will start with that. The first problem is the societal problem, the African system that gives respect to everything and everyone. For example, my pastor here, if I'm being pastored by a white pastor, he's not expecting me to see him on the street and roll over and say, ah, Papa, no. If I'm introducing my white pastor, I'll say, oh, this is Chris. Chris is my pastor. That's where we introduce Chris. You understand? So let's go back to where we are coming from. And then you understand? You understand? So
Yeah.
he is Chris first before he's my pastor. And that is the way he expects me to introduce him. And he's fine with that. You understand? Now going back to where we are coming from, even you understand, there is this worship mentality which has created a lot of problems, which now comes back to now not, you understand, uh not permitting us to be able to hold people accountable. Even as
Mhm.
men of God,
That's
there is this lack of accountability.
Mhm.
Look at all these people. Who holds them accountable for what they say? You understand? Who holds them account? And let us not forget, no matter how much in the spirit any man is in this life, there is this place of the flesh.
He's still man.
This flesh is ghosting. And then you understand, and that is the reason for accountability, so that when it seems like somebody should be able to tell you, Pastor, I'm not so sure. And that is why sometimes you can't blame the public that, okay, if there is nobody in your church that can tell you, we go, they open your onyash every week. We go, they tell you the truth. You can imagine people bringing different kind of scenarios, chemical formulas, you understand, physical formulas, formulas in physics, gravity law, just to explain tithing, offering, just to bring money to people. It's ridiculous. Is that the
See,
message
see,
Jesus
see.
has brought to us? The
Yeah,
message Jesus has brought to us is the message to the people, not to the church, not for church expansion.
Mhm.
The only thing God Jesus said about church expansion is go ye into the world and preach the gospel. Now we know money is needed, but it is not the primary thing.
see, God will bless
You
you.
understand?
God Almighty will bless both of you. You see, you know the funny thing, we grew up in the cathedral,
Yeah.
and last time I checked, we grew up in a very strong, engaging cathedral. That's Mountain of Fire and Miracle
Mm.
Ministries. This is not a kind of trying to pat back, trying to pat the back of any preacher saying he's above anything. I'm talking about the way the church system we grew up in,
Mhm.
evidentially. If you remember very well, during our teenage church, I was part of the Bible Readers Club. And I don't know, I don't know which group Rabbi
I was in
was,
drama.
but I know drama. What about you, Seun?
Yeah,
Were we together?
Bible
Good.
story.
Me, you, Biola Sholanke and the likes, good. And I remember back then that we were always diverging, and we asked
Mm.
questions because things obtainable in the society,
67.
and when we
Not
bring
back
it
to
back, we have to ask questions. We need to ask questions. And one of those things that I've come across, and I'm going to read right now, 2 Timothy chapter 3, from verse 1. I'll just stop at, it's a very long verse, but I'll stop at maybe 7. But that number, verse 2, I'll make it profound. He said, but mark this actually New King James Version though. 2 Timothy chapter 3. But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money,
Mm.
lovers of money. Now let's go back again. Mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, etc.
Hmm.
The scripture made it profound, lovers of
Hmm.
money. See, Jesus' ministry, as I've read, stated as bear the poor in the mind. As a matter of fact, let us be real. Let us be real. Who are those people who even killed Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
Street of Cathedral men.
A cathedral man.
Is the
Now, Cathedral men killed Jesus
the
Christ.
church killed him.
That much because we knew that he came and he started liberating people's mind in a way that made them to start having a good self-esteem and self-realization. You could see that woman by the well that felt she has already condemned herself by herself, but she was the one that started preaching the gospel. I've seen a man. That is Jesus Christ lifting up people's spirits, poor people, common people. He was so we go back to, did he fulfill those things that I said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, he has set me to the poor, he did all that.
Let me just say something about what you just brought up, and I will take it from Matthew 23, verse 23. When he saw the scribe, for you to know what the status quo was in the church at the time, is similar to what we have these days. Is that the church recognized the rich, the people that bring in money. So if somebody brings money to the church, the next week, Matthew 23, 23. I just want to take something there.
Wait, Matthew 23, 23,
yes,
right?
Matthew 23, 23. Yeah. So basically, you will see that it's related to the status quo. Now, you could read further for you to understand this passage, but I just brought the ideology so that you understand what was happening before. Then when Jesus now said, he said, woe unto ye scribes and Pharisees. He said, ye are hypocrites, for ye pay tithes of mint, anise, and whatever and ever. So basically, he called them hypocrites, for they pay tithes, and then you omit the important matters. The important matters of what? Of justice,
and faith.
of law, of mercy, and of faith. So, and which is what is happening in our society. You see that it is just the same thing that is happening. We've turned the table around. According to the law that God even gave to the children of Israel, the money or the substance they bring was not the first thing. There were more important things. And Jesus clearly stated that it is not as if he's clearing it up that no, it's not as if it's not important for you to pay these offerings. No, I said there are more important matters. Where is justice in the house of God? How is it just for us to gather offerings?
It's even funny.
The children of the members of the church cannot afford to go to school.
It's even
They
funny.
have been built with those offerings.
Some preachers
How
will
is
tell
it
you
fair?
if you don't pay tithes, you can't make it.
Exactly. And a preacher, you can imagine a popular preacher in Nigeria still mentioning that
if you don't pay tithes, you
without
can't make
tithes, you
I
won't
don't
make
see
if you
that
don't pay tithes.
in the scriptures.
And according to what Jesus said, these are not the most important matter. My brother, I've seen.
Rabbi,
Let me
you
just
said
mention this
something.
thing before I forget. Sorry. I remember the other day, and I was speaking to Babope. The other day that a friend of ours in Nigeria was in trouble with his baby, and he needed money badly, and he started calling about. We are in an institution, you know the pain you will be in only if your child, you understand, is in trouble. Your baby is in pain. Now to now add monetary problem to that. And then I now wonder, what did Jesus come for if these churches cannot? What will it take them to set up a world-class hospital, even if our governments are useless? This money is buy private jets. Can't they think in that way? And we have children dying every day that they just need basic medication.
And the funny thing is, they didn't know that Jesus' comments, Jesus, if we are going to take Jesus from the surface to depth, Jesus' reaction to people buying and selling in the temple house of God is deeper.
Yes.
It's deeper. You have made my house a den of theft. It's deeper. See.
And that's why you see Bible, you see pastors, you hear preachings. Go to the east, down on the shore. That's where you see pastors stealing offerings. You see, because some of these pastors just wise up, say, Alpha. You understand? That is what you see, that the institution that I just believe most of these churches to check up the structure in which they built. Those structures are faulty. The structures they built are very faulty. Very, very faulty structures.
As a matter of fact, there's a church system that controls almost all the world government right now. I'm talking about the Roman
Yeah,
Catholic.
yes.
These ones are
They
even,
are even
they're
another
making,
level.
they're so they're on
They are
another
another level
level,
of
self-sufficient
corruption. We
and all.
never even reached there.
I know, like,
We never
I
even
don't
reached there.
even want to go. I don't even want to go. That would be another topic,
we never
another
even reached those
dedicated
calls,
topic.
I think.
But that's why I just left them. You see, we were talking about the Pentecostal, and because going there, things were, oh, Jesus Christ, I don't want to go. So, but my point is, to some certain extent, they are self-sufficient. They've made the fact that their structure is not a structure that depends on, or it's not, they are the level of charity, giving, expenses. And so now, you see, you thank God for this. But before our last question is going to be role of state and regulation. But before we get there, we want to make some things very clear so that people don't think when the topic came up and say, why does God always need money? We are not, as a matter of fact, I have decided that till I draw my last breath here on earth is Jesus, fam. So, but I do not owe you, regardless who you are, a pastor, I do not owe to convince you how deep and dedicated I am, a Christian. Same, because it's a personal journey. So, because what we've seen so far is people leveraging on the goodwill and your love for Christ,
Oh God.
but leveraging on that love to their own advantage. Like what Seun just said now, questioning the fact that why can't they build a world-class hospital on it? The need and the state and the position the church has found itself is quite important. If you feel that you can't, then don't go. Don't take the responsibility. Don't take the lead. When people expect, he said, is it not written, to whom it is given, to whom much more is given, much is expected. So you cannot blame when we expect. Blame it on you that is giving, that you are not ready to be given. So now that is another point. Another point is the fact that we've talked about the university thing in my last episode about people donating and all. That is not a new thing. This unnecessary, which is what I want to Rabbi to enact on, and we will now move to the last question. This unnecessary religious competition and church growth has led to a lot of nonsense. The last time I saw a pastor trying to make a sense out of colonialism and its legacy, using it is disgraceful. It's disgraceful. Honestly, it's disgraceful that all because old people, aged people, bring their brain to another human being like them to be manipulated or to be spoken word of God to, but you use that avenue to infuse them your own agenda. You took the mic, you started saying things about colonialism and its legacy and how the church aided and played an important role when we had questioning allegiance of even the church system back then, aiding the smooth run of colonialism in Africa. You shouldn't have gone there at all if you actually wanted to make sense as a preacher. Now, this same preacher, because me, I don't like to jump on reacting. I like to observe people. This same preacher, yes, he has been making his messages go viral and all. And I realized that the new trend is they actually want to have what they call their own mega church in Abuja. So I saw a promotional video of this preacher now begging people to donate for their church. They want to build a new church and it has been constrained and all. So I sat down and I asked myself, who is the fool? So you devised a message to back governance, to back the smooth run of governing, to approve them in your messages, all in the aim that you do not want hiccups in actually setting your foot. Stability. Nobody's a fool. Everybody knows. What?
You blame them? I think, to me, you can't blame them. You can't. Why?
How?
Okay, fine. This is it. Bible says that you shall know the truth, and the truth which you know will set you free. Some of those followers are lazy to even study on themselves. They are lazy to make research. I mean, that's why personally
So,
in church I prefer Bible study time to preaching time, because during those times you can question the person that is teaching. You can compare scriptures to scriptures. You can compare what you have read somewhere to whatever the person is saying, rather than preaching that you just listen and you just swallow everything what the person is saying. You don't have, you cannot question what the person is saying. And those who are followers, that's why the difference between, you see, there was a point in time. Do you know there was a point in time that Apostle Paul, that is so honored, was confused? He had to go back to Jerusalem to go and meet the other disciples and ask them the question, because this issue of circumcision, I'm sorry that I'm taking us in this direction.
No, you're hitting the nail on the head. Please,
time where the Jews were saying that the Christians, I mean, those who are, I mean, the Jews that are now Christians are now working against, they are speaking against the other people that are now converted to Christian that are not of Jew origin. Now, of course, from the onset, they believe that before you can be recognized that you are serving God, you are a member of the family of God, you have to be circumcised. Now, here is Paul Apostle, who was not with Jesus. He only saw Jesus. He wasn't with him all through, compared to Apostle Peter that was with him all through.
Peter, yeah, and the rest, yes.
Those people they were now causing confusion in the church. They were already telling them that these people are not circumcised. They have to go and do circumcision. He got confused. Had he been a pastor of this new generation, he will make one point or the other, or something other. He will not be truthful to himself that he doesn't have answer to it. He will always find something to say. And that is where the problem is. Our pastors, at some point, they are not truthful to themselves that they don't have answer to some things. You can't have answers to everything. So Apostle Paul had to go back to Jerusalem to go and ask Peter that this is what is happening. Oh. This issue of circumcision or no circumcision, should we accept them to the Christian fold? Should they go and do circumcision? It was the answer that Peter gave him that he took back to them and told them that, see, this issue of circumcision is not important. What is important is circumcision of your hearts. The point I'm trying to make. So we don't have barbarian Christians that always question and make fun.
So basically, it reminds me of what a man of God told me years ago. I think I told you before, both of you, because we are quite close. When I told you that the man of God looked me in the eyes, we were having a conversation. It was even in his office, and I was making some salient points to him. Because I had a radical mind. I was questioning things. I think my radicality started at age 8. I believed, Jesus, I believed religiously in everything in Bible, in Sunday school. You know, the fact is, you know how my faith works, my belief system. I believe I could actually part a Red Sea. Honestly, I believe I could kill a giant. Now God talks to me, I cannot go fight giant at that time. That's not a joke. But I think it dawned on me. Another reality fizzled upon me when my dad died, and I said the select prayer point to make him. I didn't even cry till his burial. I thought God is going to use me to raise him and everybody's going to be happy and whole. But he was taken to the grave. It was then I started crying. What that did in me as an 8-year-old boy, not this man talking to you. George, you can imagine, take yourself back to 8 years. What that did in me is that I started having a lot of questions.
Why did daddy not wake up? When they told
you get
that,
now, you remember that when we were growing in teenage church. Now, when I went to that was why I joined Bible reading school, Bible reading grade group. I was not interested in being an usher or choir. I was interested in questioning God. That is this true? Or is this true? Is this your brother? Sir, can you wake a dead person? No, me, I was so practical about my faith. Don't tell me this. So that led me, there are ways God work with you. That led me to a very daring side of the faith that now I got to a point now I started realizing, in the presence of God, we are all equal. But some people have made themselves more special than others. So this is where the monetary aspect started coming in. The Pharisees got their credit from human beings, their respect, their clap, their honor, everything. Then Jesus Christ called them hypocrites and said, you've gotten your reward. As a matter of fact, this Christianity needs to be taken seriously, the gospel, because even you that are working miracles, fam, raising the dead, is can still look you in the eyes and tell you that I know you not, you workers of iniquity. So what are you telling me? Why have you reduced the core essence of Jesus Christ coming to die to monetary gains, to monetary? Why why will you reduce the quality of gospel that can actually change people's life?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? To the fact that all you just talk about
Money.
is you know, when I was in Texas, what happens in Texas? How many souls are lost in Texas? Who give a fuck if, I'm sorry to use that, like, who cares if you travel to Las Vegas yesterday or you travel to Australia or whatever? Now it seems as if that is the quota at which we can measure success these days. When a preacher is flying to Belgium to talk, we don't even know if that was a spirit-filled meeting. You know what I'm talking about? And social media has made this even worse, because when you put all your business out there, do some kind of dope flyers, wear some kind of stupid suits, everybody thinks you're on the right track of your ministry.
And that is the
And now
message.
it's getting more dangerous, because more people are traveling out, but to them, they are seeing more money that they can collect some kind of things from you in pounds, which has more value. So they treat you well. You know, it's
And
crazy
that's
how
what
people get
happens.
sent away
Basically,
from church,
and my brother,
entrances
look
because
at our
they are
churches that are
poor.
here. How many white people have really been able to win to our churches? That's the
And
truth.
churches are even registered under charity organizations
Yeah,
here. That's why I want us to take this through regulations. They are registered
under
under
charity.
charity
Yes.
organizations,
Yes.
and they have charity organizations they have obligations to meet up with.
Yes, the government. Yes, now you have to show the way you spend your money, and that
That,
is why the other
So
pastor is able to be arrested.
that's the point.
And that is why
What
you understand. You can't
what they
just pick.
understand?
In
What
fact, if a church is able to earn that kind of money here, and you buy a private jet here
you are
in this system,
like,
you are in trouble. You just now, like you just sign,
just
you
call
just sign,
attention of government.
your
you just call the
your
attention of MI5 to yourself. Now what you just do, they go find like waiting don't have, even since they born you. How
the
much they pay for
the
hospital where they
dirtiest of your
born you?
dirtiest.
The how much your father pay taxi driver, they go find out. Until now, like you understand what we are saying? They won't dare it here. They will not dare it. Because the government is making them
To be
accountable.
able.
As
Yeah.
you're saying,
Wait,
those
wait, wait,
people
wait.
are
Let me
okay.
make
I
this
was
question
hearing
official. Please, please, please,
one of
please.
these
Wait,
top pastors 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Sean, please, please. You continue. You be the one to continue. Now, let me make this question official now. What can we say should be the role of the state and regulation of the government towards this menace going on?
Which government?
You
Yes,
know
Which
something
government?
about the
I beg
state.
you
Okay.
explain now. Which of the governments?
No.
Is it
Nigerian government.
Nigerian
Yeah.
government?
No. We have no problem here. We are talking about we back
How
home, Africa at large, but Nigeria using as a
All
prototype.
right. Now let me just say something about that. Now, first of all, when we talk about the states, none of us need to lie. We know how irresponsible our governments are. It's just pure irresponsibility. They are selfish as selfishness could be. But let's take an example of the states here. Basically, you look at the way churches are run. Any money that comes in has to be properly accounted for. You understand? If the money, as long as it goes into the account, and that is why you see that from here, it's not possible for them to say they are carrying money. So even we as members here, like I go to a redeemed church here, we pay offering. How the money won't reach Nigeria? Wait till the money. How you want pack money come up from UK? Say you they transfer and go on church for Nigeria.
But they do it. But they do it, don't they? Is that not what they are expected to do?
No, they don't do it. They are not able to do that here. They are not able to.
How?
They are not
So
able to do that.
what do they do with
No,
our
basically, of
money?
course, they will state it into some charity things and things. Okay, like for example, like where I could say, of course, I'm not into the church, but I'm not into the church, but I see what they do with money here in the church. Basically, there is, even though people are not hungry here, there are always opportunities to give back to the people in the church, which I expect in a place like Nigeria, for example, like during Christmas, Easter, and all those things, you have to see the gift packs and every member carry home. And these are each and every member I can tell you do not need these gift packs. But basically, the money just has to circulate.
That's another thing.
You understand what I'm
Wait.
saying?
Our own religious leaders have gone in bed with political leaders, or let us say where we are supposed to find justice, we find some sort of marriage between them and those people that are enhancing injustice in the
You
society. So they
understand?
love
And
injustice
then there is
and
this
benefit
fear,
from the
and
broken
there's this
system.
fear these pastors have gone so powerful to the extent that I would, of course, before you know it, they'll start asking their members. If a politician comes now and say they want to start checking into they would into church money, they will start saying that it's God's money. And before you know it, they start raising prayer points to kill that politician.
You
You
remember the time
understand? Let's
when
let's
government
check
want
now.
to make
We
policy?
all know where we come from.
You
Let's
remember the time there was a
you
time
understand
that
what
was
I'm saying?
in Nigeria that they wanted to make policy
Mm-hmm.
of churches paying tax. I remember I joined to pray against
This, you
So now
understand?
you know
So
better.
this is not
We
even in
join
this
such a
place.
prayer.
Even in this place,
See,
the church
I
does
love
not pay
waiting Rabbi
tax.
talk. Oh.
No,
I love waiting Rabbi
you
talk now.
understand? The church does not pay tax here. I don't think anywhere in the world the church. I don't think the church is even here. The church does not pay tax, but you have to be able to account for every money. Guys,
Seun, you said something
you
the other
understand?
time.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it was Seun or Rabbi. One of you said, I think it was Rabbi. You said, who is holding them accountable for what they are saying, which is one of the regulations as well.
Regulations, yeah?
Expenses and what they are saying. There are some messages that are not supposed. There are some messages that are supposed to land some people into serious trouble.
Exactly.
Message of discrimination.
Yeah.
Message of
So
discrimination.
even
Message of
there are
discrimination.
some things in the
Do you know?
Bible
Wait.
that
Do
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you know some people get sent away from church entrance because of your dressing? They feel you will not match their standard and their videographing. So you are not dressed appropriate. I have seen a church here in what am I saying? I'll mention the church in abroad. Adefie. I redeem for Glasgow. My friend, where they go, Glasgow, Scotland. Talk say them no carry video come inside. Pastor come later talk says next time just make sure you dress very well and all.
And which is this the basis? Was dressing part of the reasons why it's just basically bringing some of our mentalities down here? Was dressing part of the basis why Jesus came? Did Jesus discriminate anyone?
Jesus actually, will I say, committed class suicide or destroyed classism in the society.
Exactly.
He
Because
made himself classless. You know the funny thing, even the ones from the right wing came after him and they found intelligence in him. The one from the left wing, let me explain what happened. The one from the right wing are the Pharisees, trying to incite his followers that is that not your master sitting with publicans and drinking with sinners? No, let us be real, Rabbi. What Jesus did there was he was sitting with the Agberos in beggar, and me and you know say Agbero go light cigar, go drink pelebe. Jesus no follow them drink pelebe or no follow drink cigar, but for Jesus to be there, to be having a conversation there, is to show you that Jesus go tell Nuru, this thing where they take, you know, they too much, no go spoil your liver. That go to Rabbi, liver am Joe, Abi. If my liver spoil, you go give me new one. Jesus go shake head, say, I pity you. He was having a conversation where people gave him seats. Rabbi, come sit down here. No, leave Nuru. Nuru na bad person. Rabbi, can't tell me that your kingdom story where you talked that last time. It was classless, fam. The same Jesus Christ, Nicodemus, from the right wing, came. He talks. Imagine a Nicodemus. Nicodemus is not a Nicompo. He's a well-lettered person. And Jesus was able to make a follower out of Nicodemus. Came. As a matter of fact, it was Nicodemus that actually, that conversation was one that brought born again to light. A very, very sound teaching in Christian faith. It was Jesus speaking to Nicodemus. Am I not right? Telling him. So you could understand that Nicodemus that was right wing came to Jesus and he found Jesus worthy. The left wing people, folks, eating, drink. So where are we going to do? Are these people in a hurry to make the right to go in bed with the right wing and making the left wing feel as if they are nothing? But they need their numbers of the left wing to convince the right wing that they are powerful force, that they can entrust them with whatever agenda they are bedding. Everybody has a theory, but this theory is valid. If you ask me, it's a very valid theory. Because anybody who has a number in the society is not considered a threat, is considered an icon, an enigma, is called to the table of negotiation.
Yes.
Is that what they are using us for?
Exactly.
That's
What's happening. That's what's
the
happening.
problem that is happening in church, really. that
Exactly.
population. In fact, the truth of the matter is, what is now actually happening? We are not having Christian converts. Rather, we are having church converts. How do I
People
mean?
just
People switch from you. Okay, you that you are a church. I don't want to mention the name of church now. Maybe you are church A. You package yourself. You drill members from church B. You say you have a convert, or you say you are growing. But what is actually happening is stealing of members. There is no convert anymore. There is no people coming into the fold again, like it's supposed to be. And the way we have attributed success in ministry is either there is financial growth or numerical growth. So that's what we believe. In fact, you will see there are some churches that promote their pastors based on building the structures that they have erected for the church, or the increase in the number of the way they have increased the number of people in churches. They recognize their growth as that. And that is why it's causing the problem. And when you talk about enacting laws or trying to, form a kind of regulations, these things are actually on ground, but they are not followed. Part of it is that in Christian church, in Christian gathering, we have an association called CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria. We have a PFN. But how many pastors or how many churches are submitted to that leadership? How many of them are willing or ready to be under a leadership of somebody? These are the problems that is happening. They are just teaching and not following what they are teaching. Many pastors are not ready to even in campus fellowship. I remember then when I was in school, there's this particular set of Christians that they don't belong to campus fellowship. What's it called? The body,
Interdenominational.
yeah, the body of campus fellowships on campus. And this is a well-pronounced church. I will not mention the name of the church. I was like,
Deeper life. Continue. Deeper life or whatever it be. I don't care.
I was so annoyed that how can this be? If I remember in NYSC too, they have their own separate church. They don't have the way we have a Christian Corpus Fellowship. They have their own separate. And gradually I noticed that all churches now, they are not having their own. And now, what is the essence of this? What everybody just want to have his own court, and everybody want to have his own cathedral, and see that people saying that it is growing. These are the problem we're having. So, and government that would have said should help in regulating, day to day are not being.
They're not trusted. Well, let's start calling it a wrap. I know this is a question. This is actually a topic that we need to do in series. Series 1, series 2, because actually it will get a better part of, most especially if you grow up in the cathedral like us. We know many things that have gone on behind curtain. I know Seun, for one. Seun come from a very strong cathedral background. Honestly, you hardly not see a traces of pastor everywhere in Seun's lineage. I come from a very strong cathedral background. As a matter of fact, now my great grandfather compound the first do church service. My great grandfather now he be the first person we convert with it. So now why we get strong, appellation. So we come from, and I also know you, Rabbi. In fact, that name self, you don't explain everything. I don't even need go for Rabbi. Who them born with me them call Rabbi after Jesus go? Now you get. So, but it's always very funny that we've gotten to this point where it is all about meeting, gatherings, meeting upon, and the quality of I'm going to give a big shout out to a man of God in Nigeria. Personally, it's my personal. I'm giving a big shout out to Bro Bile Akoni.
Oh, wonderful!
Oh, man. Me, Daring, I'm giving a big shout out to Bro Bile Akoni. Look, let's just be careful. Oh. See, I don't attend this cathedral. No be mountain of fire we come from. I know they attend Brogbili Cathedral. I think I've gone to Boko just once or twice. But we need to say the truth the way it is. Now, people asking questions behind, is this God of the flesh or God of... Calm down. These are the messages that I've gotten out. We speak plainly You speak as if you've been to the spiritual world and back.
Hmm.
We need plain messages. Jesus came to simplify the law, but you are telling me about Igrabod, Escarabod, Esclabod as spiritual powers. What's my business with all those kind of esoteric language, or just trying to accredit yourself as some sort of deep spiritual, when we have lapses even in the house you are standing? I remember Jesus' word. Jesus' word is weightier than anybody's word. He said, he looked upon, listen, oh, he looked upon Peter. He said, upon thy rock will I build my church. I will build my church.
Hmm.
I will build my church. So how far? Now they help Jesus Christ. So these are things that get our emotion. I'm emotional because say the love where we get from when we talk about Bible verses and all. You guys are. So I will just ask. This will be the last, and I want us to call it a wrap. What do you think is our projection? How are we seeing things going to play out in the next 10 years or 20 years? Actually, in the right direction, or if things are not, if you are not careful, because I can see the aged fathers now, like Pastor Adebayo. I'm not wishing anybody's death, but everybody go die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so like if now my grandpa now one day will he pray to bury me?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So these are basic things. So I'm not wishing anybody. I can't wish anybody's death, but these are they are now of age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys these men of valor have done fantastically well. They are going to pass the baton very soon. So let us project into 10 years or 20 years of the future of Cathedral as it is going on with this monetary value. People just, I said, bro, I said people design altar now and leave people, the congregation in shed. But the altar has to look like a mega $1 billion altar just because of social media projection. You
Sure.
never see them.
Sure.
Why?
Sure. See, my
Why?
brother, that projection you just said, to be candid, it will only get worse. It will only get worse based on two things. It will get worse based on the fact that even Jesus himself had already said it, that we need to meet when he comes back. Of course, by Jesus' teaching is a sign of end. And secondly, the new generation of coming to that ministry fold, my brother, they are
on fire. They learned well, Abby. There's one Seun was telling me the other day. This is just my life. Seun, you talk now. Seun was telling us the other day about one very loud cathedral son that was saying, God, my people don't suffer. He said that boy they talk say, yeah, in this economy, you have 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira, or 20,000 naira, whatever. What can 10,000 naira do for you? What can 20,000 naira do for you? But when you sow it as a seed, I say, God, so even the last money for my hand, ṣe fẹ́ pa mí ni, ṣe ẹ fẹ́ mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ kẹ́kẹ́kẹ́ gé wa lọ́wọ́, ṣe fẹ́ pa wá ni. Seun, what do you think?
Basically, we've said a lot, and it's a topic that brings a lot of emotion when you see how much people suffer, and you see how much comes into the church, and the church is not reciprocating. The church is only bringing, people cannot force it. The people are on their own. We don't see the role of the church. At least I have family members, relatives that have been in illness recently. You cannot say this is a potential role the role of the church has played in it. Thank God we are in a good position to take care of our own. You understand what I'm saying? But how many people are able to take care of their own? And that is reality. And you can imagine that kind of trouble. Of course, we have to spend. But I don't think people have at least have had cause that this happened. Spent heavily. I could say, but this person is paying offering to this. I cannot even say this is something that the church did. So what happens to all the offering you've been? Is it not for a reason like this?
to take care of the sick.
Understand? Thank God I'm not in the position, so that I'm not in that position at the moment, so that they will
Let me
not say
check this
because
in.
I'm
Seun, is a question for you. Is a question for you. Is a question for you. Is a question for you too. Do you think the issue of full-time pastors has also added to church not being able to reach out
But
to
that
help?
issue of full-time pastor, it's a very, very, to me, it's a very, very, I don't see any place in the Bible where there is full-time pastoring. I mean, maybe,
Levite now, Levite. Levite. So better not let someone Levite
I
say the
am
full-time pastors.
talking of Christian. I'm not talking of Jewish religion. I'm talking of Christian. I'm not talking of, you know, of course, as Jewish, even as such, as the Jews is different. I'm talking of Christian religion in itself. I'm talking from the time of the apostles. That's coming down. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't see where the time where they say Apostle Paul. Do you know Apostle Paul walked? He said sometimes
as a tent maker.
he will go and walk. He will weave with his hand and do things. So that's where the
No,
problem is.
the thing is that the truth is there are some institutions that have grown, and let's imagine in places where pastors have been transferred on missionary journeys to other places. They are practically full-time, basically. And you understand. Okay, for example, at least I have one of my uncle in a country, and it's because he came through a missionary. So sorry about this. I cannot shout and call out my wife now. He
No,
opened the
it's okay.
door.
It's okay. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
He's really on point. He's
And you
really
can
on
see that
point.
I've been distracted. Is the one that's
Don't worry. You two can join in the conversation. Don't worry.
I beg, don't make a join, I beg. So basically, what I'm saying is that where I'm going is there are reasons why, but you have to have legible reasons. But as you said earlier, I come from a family where there are a lot of pastors, and from what I know, even though they are full-time pastors, they've been called into full-time ministries. All of them have
Something
something else doing on their own.
That is the point.
Even though they are in full-time ministry, if they are, I think the only one that I could say they could not, that even the wife, is because their visa is a missionary visa in the country where they are located at the moment, and they are not permitted to do anything, basically. Because
So what's your projection, Seun? What's your projection in the next 10 years,
the
20
truth
years,
is, my
as things are
projection
playing
is
out?
I will go to the Bible and what happened in Malachi. There is this scripture that these pastors always read when they want to say that, oh, cost is any person that did not tithe
Malachi,
and things like that.
nothing.
Malachi 3:8, where the prophet was saying that, can a man rob God? And that's why sometimes we just pick one verse in order to drive our point. What did you think happened? It was basically the law. But you could see that the children of Levi, they were bringing the 10%, they were misbehaving with the 10%. That was basically what happened.
It
And
was
people
talking to
refused
the
to pay.
priest.
And so basically, what happened here was that the children of Israel, the prophets got to the storehouse so that there was nothing in the storehouse. That was basically what happened there. And then these
So
pastors, they will bring that verse.
he
And that's
decided
why
to react. He decided to
yeah,
react.
I said, I think, he said, you want to kill these people, even if they misbehave, you want me to die? Basically, after he's bring all the title, and then he started reteaching it again, the Lord that bring the title to the storehouse and make sure that it's God's blessings and things like. What would happen is that people will start wise if they continue on this line. People will start wising up, and that is practically what, because the person that has
I
got
think
tithe,
I think your projection is right because that pastor who that refused to pay the 900 that said he has paid to God, the guy carry police come say, "Oh, no be God I pay. Now you
like you
transfer
are
money to no be
give.
God I."
So basically, people will start wising up, and before you know it, if they don't stop
A
their
lot of
ways, and you understand, and allow these offerings to be used for what they are used. I cannot be in a church when I could see my offerings are being mismanaged. I won't pay my tithe I won't pay my tithe into that church again. I'd rather
But are
find
you
somewhere
sure?
else.
But are you sure? There's a theory of there's a God. I don't know. Thank you, Jesus. There's a theory of the mega ministry that seem as if they don't need that your contribution is insignificant
It's the contribution
regardless.
that is making the church. Just know that it is you.
But
It's
I
you that
know,
God is using.
but it seems,
Mm.
but I know, but it seems as
it
if
seems as
the
if
trick about the mega ministry is that it seems as if
is
your contribution they don't
okay.
bother, they don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
We know those mega ministries, so you just think psychologically that well, how much I won't give, say, where this pastor we don't buy private jet already. When you get money past me, I make I even drop my money so that God will
No,
keep bless
Let
me.
a thousand.
That
Let
side
a
the
too.
truth
thousand.
is that
That side
our
also
knowledge
affects
of
us
God
the
did not
wise.
lose our knowledge of mathematics. How did the money come together? The money that bought the private jets. Now you're offering now.
They've been so they've been able to use their oh God, I'm using the right word. They've been able to use their previous loot to start a business that has given them multiplying effect. So it seems as if that's what I'm saying. It seems as if your contribution does not even matter. You can't tell me about my mega ministry that has like universities, even more than one
Yeah,
university for crying
yeah,
out loud.
exactly.
One,
There are some,
our secondary school, lot of businesses, multiple
and
streams of
it's so
income.
sad. And
And
when you said a lot of businesses,
Hmm.
and which is sad. This is not the reason why God created the offering and the time. Even if you
that,
are to create
that
businesses,
was why I
it
said,
is
wait,
still
that was why I said
you
Jesus'
understand.
word at that temple. That was why I said Jesus' word at that
Exactly.
temple that said that you have made my house is supposed to be a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. It's deeper.
You understand? It's very, very deep. Even though as long as we appreciate their business acumen, but how is this reflecting on the life of the average member of those
Yeah.
institutions, of those churches? That is the question. And that is why I question. The truth is, as you said earlier in your introduction, that people are taking the Bible, people are just using the word that God has given us.
To
They are
sacrifice.
administering it for their own benefits.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, this tithe and offering are not for the benefits of the pastors.
It's for the
They are
benefit
for the
of the
benefits of the
church,
church,
of the members
of
that are
the
in needs.
members. And which is the
You know
sad
the
thing,
funny thing.
that
You
we are
know the funny
forgetting
thing.
those parts.
I said this, and I'm calling this a rap. I said this the other day in a cathedral, and I think both of you were present when I said you. I said the Bible said that our temple is the house of the
Mm.
Lord. So why can't I take my tithes and decide that my tithes I am going to give
Give.
those that actually need it,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
that is the temple of the Lord. Oh, they never liked that
Of
in
course, they
cathedral.
won't like to hear that.
Now, the body is not the temple of the Lord anymore. It is now literally term. I'm like, are you
Are
kidding
you
me?
In fact,
kidding?
So you are the one that would you are the one that would tell me when God is serious in this aspect
And
and
when it's
when
not
God does not mean
serious in
this
this
statement.
aspect.
Like you are flesh like me. You will die tomorrow.
that
Why you gonna? Should I you go even come? They tell me God mind. They whine me. By the way, we say I dey read myself. So basically, well, I like what the Gen Zs always call God. It might be funny, but they call him Sky Daddy. You know, whenever they talk, there's a funny way they say, Sky Daddy, how far like do give away today. But now listen, our Sky Daddy in his home, his street is made of gold. So I've not seen a single city in the world right now whose street is made, the entire street is made of gold. That's to let you know that this is someone that you cannot is like he even said it. What can you give me? Because I made everything. So now, if God has said that himself, why are you now reducing the gospel
Gospel to money.
to monetary values? So why have we also followers accredited success in ministry to the mega churches when we can read ourselves in Revelation what even the word of God says to the churches? Why have we all thought the standard of secularism is the same standard in religious setting?
in religious setting.
So,
Yeah.
so if there's going to be a regulation and their respect, like you said, their respect attached to regulation, like no churches pay tax, are these people not supposed to also hold on to their end of integrity? Why would you let the poor feel as if there's no safe place for him on this earth, not even in the
Not even
presence
in
of
the
God,
house of God. You understand?
But
not even in the house of
Yeah.
God?
guys, please no vex. The truth is, honestly, some churches are actually giving to church to their members, which we have to still appreciate them. But there are some members too that are for they told me of a story of some set of people in the church I attend. They said when they go and meet the general overseer to give them, they can collect the same money of the same thing over and over again. And he will keep giving them. It's not as if he doesn't know. Some, in fact, they said they are calling him, they gave him some name, like Mugu. They gave him ATM. Yeah, no, that's the fact. I mean, Seun can bear me witness. Okay, even yourself, there was a point in on campus that you were a leader of a campus fellowship. You see some things that you will witness. Some people will come with a deceptive mind. They don't actually need that thing. They will turn you to Mugu. So it is both ways. So that's why some churches are hard on giving their members 10.
Well, this conversation has been balanced, honestly. And as much as we wanted more time to divulge deep into this, sadly, everything that starts will always have an end.
Definitely.
Funny thing is, even our life, even this end has been projected that it will end. So of course, Street and Cathedral too, every session must end. I want to especially appreciate you guys for joining on board. I know there are some people that regardless, I just have them. I'm blessed to have them part of my team, which is you. We've been men who journey with God from our teenage age to this, and we've been able to sustain our friendship to now, and our values and respect, most importantly, and to transcend from that, from our childhood to adulthood, where we are still friends, even in marriage and all. You know, a big shout out to both of you. I really appreciate you, and to our two other brothers that are not here. That's Prince Akindele and Raymond Oluwatobi. A big shout out to them too. I know this topic seems very, very controversial. It's good for the media. People don't understand that because people don't even understand how to even make things very controversial. Why does God? Of course, I'm not attacking God. It is a way to also draw your attention to things that are very, very germane that we need to ask. So we need to also put our voice out there that the quality of the quality of the gospel of Jesus Christ should not, and it has not, and it will never be reduced to monetary value. It has been about salvation, the kingdom of God, about making our life a representative of God here on earth. So when God decides to enrich you, it is not because God is trying to say that you are the one that is heaven worthy. Monetary value to God is nothing. So we cannot reduce God to the confines of money.
Yeah.
So when I say why does God always need, I'm asking you, why does your own God always ask for money from us? Regardless whether we are poor, we are broke. Why can't I go to church these days? And I'm speaking rhetorically. Yeah, why can't I go to church? You see people telling them, I didn't go to church, I don't have money. How does it translate? And these people have valid reasons because they feel ashamed when there's offering going on, they can't drop money. And why? There's some people tell you I can't go to church, I don't have clothes. Come on, fam. We can do better than this.
Exactly.
And some people literally have been chased away because they are not wearing good clothes. Some people have been, there's a social cultural thing going on in the religious setting where, in fact, I don't think people will be given decent seats if they don't dress appropriately anymore. And preachers will say you can't go in the front of presidents, but do beggars go in front of presidents? No. But can beggars go to the house of God? Yes. So why have you decided to make yourself the custodian or the mouthpiece of God when you are not even representing God in any way of your attitude? The other day, the congregation were laughing and saying, reducing the prosperity gospel and God value to say, even if you are poor here, you won't have your own estate in heaven. You'll be aligned with the rich person. The poor man Lazarus was aligned to Abraham's bosom. He couldn't have his place. That is a very, very, very sensitive statement to make.
Very sad. Very sad.
A very, very unnecessary, sad statement to make about God.
Very sad.
It seems as if the God called money itself has actually crept into the mind of every preacher and diluted the true gospel recently. So anybody right now that comes and say, no, they'll say, leave him, it's because he doesn't have money. Who tell you everybody wants to have money like you? Who tell you everybody wants to worship money like you? Who tell you everybody cares about if some people, many people have a working system that works for them. Some people don't give a damn about all these $1 billion.
Definitely,
Who
in as
cares
much as they
about it?
can hit, have roof on their head.
So who tell you that the value you place so much about all these materialistic things and everything, people place about it? Do you really think Jesus Christ, with all his knowledge, if you want us to school you about who Jesus Christ is, he went to his primary school in Egypt. He grew up in Egypt with foreigners. This man called Jesus Christ is vast. He has met a lot of people in his life. Do you really think if he was concerned about materialistic things, he wouldn't have got himself a
He
seat
got to a
amidst
point
the
in time he wanted
Pharisees?
to pay tax. He has to go and ask somebody to go and catch fish.
That is to show you how ridiculous money is. Jesus Christ insulted money, told Peter to go to the bank of a fish. Do you know that miracle was highly deep? If you reason that miracle, that's to let you know as a Christian that money should be the last thing you bother about. If Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, could send his disciple and say, "Oh, I need money. Oh, we don't have money in his church. See, you just go to, you're a fisherman, Abi. Just go to the river and catch any fish. In the mouth of the fish, you see money." Have you asked your question? How did the money get to the mouth of the fish? But you are the same person who will not. The other day, a preacher was saying that somebody does not like me. He said, he said, well, do I care? Does it pay me? Does it pay me money? So someone does not like you. The best way for you to even exercise the value at which you can give someone who doesn't like you is the monetary value again. Why have we reduced ourselves to this? Well, like I said, it's not a battle we can win. It's a mindset. So we just need to put it out there where some people are actually worshiping and running after money and all. There are still some people that are holding high value, most especially the value of Christianity, high quality of gospel, the kingdom of God. They're saying holding it in high value and telling you to your face that no, the ministry of Jesus Christ, as earlier stated in this video, he has said it, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and he enlisted his purpose on that. I did not see where he has said that he has come to make himself a billionaire, to amass wealth.
You understand? We understand the place of people trying to be motivational speakers. But they say a lot of, but they say a lot of annoying things that, okay, what should happen to someone who cannot make money? What would, if you understand, a man who is poor, what would not happen to the person? And the truth is,
Do you even know what happened to Zacchaeus? Wait,
should the person...
I'm sorry. Do you know what happened to Zacchaeus? Then let me explain, and I'm going to end this. We're going to end this. Zacchaeus was a corrupt man, just like your corrupt politician you've gone to bed with. Zacchaeus had an encounter with Jesus Christ and decided he was going to return all his loot. For heaven's sake, Zacchaeus felt for the first time that money was not everything. That no, he has placed too much value on monetary things, so he needed to return it and live with the qualities, the values of the true gospel Jesus Christ was preaching. How many of your politician friends have decided, because they had an encounter with you, I saw the Christ in you, I said they were going to purposefully walk into what is it called, EFCC office, or return all their loot? None.
No.
It's even EFCC that is saving members from pastor sons now. It's ridiculous.
So,
yes,
you see,
EFCC.
so that,
No, just go online. There are a lot of ridiculous things. Go. There is even still one that
no, you're saying the truth.
Yes.
Osage, or was it Oden Wingy that was duped? Was it Oruma or one of the footballers was duped by his pastor? And this guy this guy became mentally unstable.
My brother,
you could imagine.
My brother, there are a lot of them. Go on the just go as we finish now. There is even still one. There is even a couple that Daddy Freeze interviewed recently. Some of them, you need to see the name of the persons they are mentioning. It's ridiculous.
Just imagine.
It's ridiculous.
So these people do these people.
It's ridiculous.
They don't trust you. They trust the God in you. And they've so you decided to worship Mammon and think you are going to go scot-free. See, all these things we can play it back and forth, and you can say, "Oh, I will sin and forgive and ask for forgiveness and all." But as you can't outsmart the devil, as smart as the devil is, no one has outsmarted him before. Do you think you can outsmart the one who is punishing the one you can't even outsmart.
And that's him.
So these are conversations we need to have, and I think we've shied away from it for so long because I've seen a lot of youth being crippled by poverty and think poverty is something they should be ashamed of, so they kill their voice. So they rather be under the tutelage of oppression, of manipulation, rather than air their voice. Because once they stand up in the cathedral and they assess your dressing, your cologne, they address your skin, and they say this poverty is moving over, even you have self-condemned yourself. We need to. Jesus Christ came to lift people's spirits. So all these are escalabot. We don't want to hear it, fam.
Rema.
There's another dimension in spiritual realm, bruv. We don't want to hear those kind of preaching. What we want right now is you attend to the gospel you preach. Just stop all this nonsense for every sake. Coming online to beg for money for your mega churches and all. Stop this rubbish, fam. And let us now start projecting the quality of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Amen, somebody.
Amen.
Hey, I think I entered the spirit.
If
Was that too far?
if we continue like this, we don't go come out again, I beg.
Was I too far? Oh, I was. See, I spoiled that thing. I was supposed to act along. I said, believe. I close your eyes right now. There's a sister right now in Australia.
My brother, I beg.
So yeah.
We just end up for you.
So thank you very much, guys.
I read the message of all the other people following us. I appreciate you guys. And we appreciate you guys, love you guys. And thanks for following the Meji Shodeke platform. Amazing content so far. Amazing content. And love. I think I really love the conversation I had last week with the two guys you brought on board. Amazing conversation. It's important to see this perspective of Nigerians trying to do something good with their business, understanding what they are, even in the difficult terrain. Young guys like us back there in Nigeria, away from religion and things like this. It seems as if it's only, but it's nice to see that there are guys like that. It's so nice, and just to encourage that. Some of the things you're doing, it's amazing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys too. I know, Rabbi, if you are the kind of person that you are deceived by people's followership on Instagram, and you think this Rabbi, get profile picture, Rabbi, get followers, but Rabbi now Rabbi. Rabbi in England, Bilamo. So all these Gen Zs, we think when you see 100, these guys, almost some people don't care about social media. Some people are just watching passively, enjoying themselves. Those are the kind of Seun and Rabbi that you see. So I want to appreciate you guys. You guys have been fantastic and amazing. I appreciate you. Maximum respect to you and love. And I hope when we see next, we're going to see an high spirit celebrating ourselves by God's grace. And I think Rabbi's house is the next stop. We keep that between ourselves. We keep that between ourselves.
Yes,
all right. Thank you very much. A big shout out to you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And have a great week.
Bye.